Hi, so this is the student Edcamp model session in the first session of edcampHOME. I'm Joan Le. I teach in Arlington, Virginia, science, and let's get started.
I'll go next if that's okay.
Great.
All right, I'm Michelle Cobb. I teach in Caro, Michigan. I am a high school English teacher, and this is my second Edcamp, and I think, Joan, you and I were in a session last time.
I'll go. I'm Scott Bedley. This is my first edcampHOME, but not my first Google Hangout, but it's a lot of fun to learn and chat with everybody. And I'm in Irvine, California, out on the West Coast.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, let's just go down the row to Stacy next.
Hi, I'm Stacy Rushan. I teach at Willis School in Maryland, and I teach math, and I'm excited to be here with all of you today. I'm at BuddyXO on Twitter, which is in my thing.
Teresa, you want to go?
Sure. I'm also in Irvine. Can you hear me? Okay. Let me figure out hold on.
We can hear you, Teresa.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I teach at Irvine Unified High School, or excuse me, in Irvine Unified School District at University High School. I teach English.
Great, thanks, Teresa. I think we just have Colleen. Is that the last one?
Hi, can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can all hear you.
Yep.
Oh, super. This is my first time in Google Hangout, so thank you. My name's Colleen Beery, and I'm a second grade teacher in Larkspur, California, which is north of San Francisco.
I still have to introduce myself. Are you ready? Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. I'm Liz Davis. I am an English teacher, video teacher, and technology director in Belmont, Massachusetts, independent boys' school here. I live in Watertown, Massachusetts, and I am moving to California in the summer, so still looking for a job in the Bay Area. If you know of any, let me know.
What kind of work are you looking for?
Middle school teaching, going back to the classroom.
Cool.
Ah, cool. Okay, look in the Larkspur Corte Madera School District. We may be hiring.
Probably not going to try public school because of the whole certification thing is going to be too challenging. So looking more in independent schools right now, but never know.
Liz, that sounds exciting. I used to teach in the KIPP Bay Area, and I mean in the Bay Area through KIPP. They have a pretty big program there. So do we have a moderator here? Did anyone sign up to be a moderator?
How do you define moderator?
Okay.
I thought you were the moderator.
I'm the facilitator. So, okay, I guess I'm the moderator and we need a facilitator. So do we have one of those guys? All right, I'm happy to do it. So has anyone tried using Edcamp in school with students?
No.
I have.
How'd it go and what did you do?
It's great. My brother first tried it, and he just did a general topics and different things like that, and it was a lot of fun. The kids enjoyed it, and it's self-directed. And the thing that I shifted to was well, ed camps are focused on education. Well, if you do just an ed camp in class, you end up with kids choosing a lot of different topics, which is great. It's a lot of fun for them. But we also did like focused ed camps, so we did like ed camp math and ed camp language arts and ed camp science. So the kids chose topics they were interested in within those subjects, rather than just general broad, because the general broad ended up being, some of the sessions, I mean, the kids did great, but some of the sessions ended up being more like just sharing about hobbies and things like that, which was, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking that at all, it was cool, but I wanted to focus it more like an ed camp is.
Now, I think, Scott, did you put that link, or did you, on that link through the Google Plus community, I think a woman showed like her butcher paper and the little links that the kids put on there. Is that based off of what you did?
Yeah, Dina Glenn down in San Diego, who's awesome, she wrote like an amazing blog post. I think Edutopia retweeted it and or posted it or something like that. She's fantastic. Yeah, she connected with my brother after my brother shared about it. We do a little bit of a Google show, but he shared about it, and it kind of inspired some people to try it. And I'm sure people were trying it before he did, but some people that saw that weren't able to kind of step forward, and they connected down at Edcamp and talked, and she did an amazing job. I think hers was far more organized probably than either one of ours, that's for sure.
Did you spend like the entire day on it? Did you make it a big event, or was it within a class period or over some time? How did you manage the time?
It was more just the ones that we've done so far have just been single sessions. So we just did use the whiteboard. We weren't really high tech, but I departmentalized, so we did it among all three classes. So that was really cool. The kids got to just choose which classroom they went to for the sessions, and then we had in our classroom little breakout spots for the sessions, just depending on how many kids signed up for sessions. So we prepped them before, we talked about it, and I think that advance notice of what the focus is really important, just because it's such a new thing for them to be in control of what happens in class.
Yeah.
So kids, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So the kids, when they did this with you, they all stayed within the classroom, or did they venture out into different rooms, and then you just kind of facilitated as a teacher, walking around, seeing how the discussions were going?
Yeah, it was just a lot of facilitating, so the kids got to venture and travel, and this is how I did it. I don't know if Dina did it just exactly the same way. I know Tim did it kind of similar to this too, my brother. But yeah, it was the kids just got free reign to roam around. I set the expectations of, hey, when a session's starting, you have to make your choice to be someplace to start, but after that's done, you can vote with your feet, and they did.
Awesome.
And a lot of them, you can suspect. I teach 5th grade, so a lot of them chose to go to their friends' session, obviously. But that's okay. I mean, it was a chance to start it and try it out and have them really focused and engaged listening because it was their friend sharing. And so I think they tended to be maybe a little more respectful than they would. Well, I mean, they're respectful. Well, kids are great, so.
When you did the language arts focus, did you give them particular topics, ideas, or did you brainstorm ideas? Did they pick anything they wanted to talk about?
I mean, we had a general discussion about what subjects fall under language arts, and so we let it go to like reading, writing. There was a lot of book share outs, more so about kids just sharing novels and things that they really enjoyed and why they enjoyed it. So I think language arts tended to be more like a reading than I think I had hoped it, because I teach writing in our departmentalization, that more kids would share their writing, but it might have to be even more focused if you wanted to guide them. But it's kind of like this balancing act between wanting to give them freedom and wanting to like make sure it's focused and guided towards something productive in the classroom. I think it's good to just try it just in general first with whatever topics they choose, so they get the hang of it, and then from there into a more focused curricular area if you want to do it that way. You can keep it general and just make it more of like a Genius Hour, kind of like spread throughout, you know, except for the kids are presenting. But
Scott, how long are the sessions that you figure out work well?
I did the first time we just did a longer session, not knowing, and so we get 45 minutes, and that was way too long. I think you know, we continue to shorten it. I think 20 minutes is probably really like maybe even too long. But we didn't want to restrict the kids, and then we're starting to say like, hey, at the end of the session or presentation, maybe they can start to produce something out of that, because I think all of us, when we're done with Edcamp, try to take an idea back and do something with it. So I think that production piece after the Edcamp for kids, I think, is a really important piece that we're adding in as we figure this all out.
Scott, I'm sorry if you've already mentioned this, but did you have the kids live tweet too? Did they use Twitter or anything like that? Any back channel?
Teresa can attest this. Twitter is not unblocked in our district right now, unless you're a teacher and you have gone through the acceptable use training. Then you can have that unlocked to use at school. But no, we didn't do any social media aspects to that yet. So hopefully.
Did you think about using any other back channels like Today's Meet or you know, any of those what is it, join.me and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, we did. I haven't got there yet. But and we're not. I'm a BYOD, and so just being at 5th grade, I think if I were teaching high school again, I would probably try to have that as a big aspect of it, just to have those discussions going on. But as far as for 5th grade, it's just difficult to do those kind of things. I would probably do it if I, you know, just thinking about it right now, I'd probably do it through like Google Doc, like a shared Google Doc or something like that, where the kids could share it with each other and be adding on information as it goes or something like that.
Has anyone else tried it or thinking about trying it? I was thinking about doing this for like the end of year review, so having kids pick topics or things like that. We also use a lot of technology in my class that some of the kids actually have a really hard time, even though I teach high school. Some kids still have a hard time with technology. So even stuff like properly using Twitter and things like that. Has anyone else done that? Or thought about doing that?
I think it's a great idea. I attended the last time at Edcamp a Genius Hour, and I can see a big mesh between this Edcamp and Genius Hour passion project that a lot of people have mentioned. I think my concern is just a little bit of kids getting off topic. But I love the idea of maybe incorporating some technology, because some kids are so technologically advanced and some kids are still not even on Twitter or you know, barely utilizing Facebook or Instagram or whatever else there is. But it sounds like it would be a riot.
I'm very interested in trying this with my classes as well. However, as Scott mentioned, we've got bandwidth issues for using the technology piece, but I'd be interested in people's ideas on how to build up to a culture of sharing. We had some pretty successful book shares when we talked about, this is an AP English class with juniors, when we talked about outside reading, but I could see some kids were engaged with certain books and others weren't so much, so dividing it up into different rooms and presentations would be awesome. Any thoughts about how to prepare your classes for this type of sharing and voting with your feet?
I think, because I was thinking the same thing, Teresa, I feel as if maybe we really need to get some kids who are willing to present. They have that confidence, and even if it's not necessarily academic the first time, like Scott mentioned, maybe it needs to really be a passion, like if a kid's good at knitting, or if they can play the guitar, and just, you know, some basic passion ideas. I think maybe that's a good place to start. Would you guys agree?
I would think that it doesn't have to be a presentation. It'd be maybe easier if it were a conversation and students chose topics they wanted to discuss and then went to different spaces to have the conversations, and they could report back about what they talked about. And I would also think maybe pre-populating the sessions the first couple times at least, so that they're not doing it on the spot, and maybe modeling it with them as a whole class once. What would it look like? And then having them pre-populate and have some kids volunteer, and then another time do it where you're totally, you know, so sort of scaffolding it is for me, because I'm 7th grade. I'm also really limited. I have 40 minutes and that's it, and so it's such a structured time that that's what makes it hard for me, I think.
Those are great ideas, Liz. I don't do Edcamp per se with my 2nd graders. What I've always done is the end of the year, like someone suggested, is the kids get to be teacher for a half hour. They decide a week ahead of time what they're going to teach to the class, prepare all the materials, and like Scott was saying, the kids are really respectful of each other, and 20 minutes is probably about the right amount of time. But I just find the kids are eager to teach each other, and I work with a buddy class of kindergartners, and they're already in the mode of teaching each other. So I think Liz's ideas of model for them and go through one, you know, role play kind of thing is a great idea.
Yeah, maybe even, I mean, if you found a great session on like an EdcampHOME or Edcamp Online and you made up the transcript and like just have them actually go through it depending on how much scaffolding they need, I think would make a really big difference. And I liked, I can't remember whose idea it was, Michelle, I think, of just starting with something that was really just an interest, that it can be off topic as long as it's school appropriate, but something to get that conversation started. And I hope you guys could tell me who it was that talked about the 20% time project. But I think that would be a great topic because kids are, you know, meeting so many stumbling blocks. I'm starting the 20% time project 2nd semester, but we've taken the whole first to prepare for it. And they're not using the online forum as much. I think they're a little embarrassed to have that up there. So I think that was a really good idea. Having an Edcamp around 20 time would be a great idea.
I love the idea of 20% time, and I love the idea of just taking Edcamp and making it very informal, because I think in education we so often just make everything so formal, and we need to just have love of learning and love of sharing rather than it being this scary, how am I going to be assessed type of situation.
It's hard though, because even, you know, I'm in an independent school, so you might think it's not, the accountability, like pressures might be different, because I've taught in public school as well, but I still feel like accountable to the grammar and the spelling, the vocabulary, and all the books I have to get through, and the other 2 English teachers who are getting through 5 books, and if I only get through 3 books because I'm taking 20% time to do something else, I don't think anyone would care or say anything to me. I think I do this to myself about this. So that's where I really struggle with finding that balance of what if I don't get to you know, call the wild, and we're supposed to, every other 7th grader does it, and I don't get to it. Am I, you know, where are they for 8th grade then? And so that's where I just struggle so much. There's so much I want to do, and then fitting it making it work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Especially in AP classes and stuff like that, you feel so pressed for time, and you have all these ideas and stuff that you want to do, but it's how do you fit it in? And so I think sometimes, even though, the EdCamp model is so unstructured, and that's what I would love to do, sometimes I feel like if I could make it a little bit more structured and a little bit more focused, I could get it in and feel like I'm still getting through everything I need to do. So.
Well, I think that's where flipped classes really come in handy because, I mean, if your students are doing their homework, which is a whole other challenge unto itself, but you have more class time to do things. And I think even utilizing, if your district allows Google Hangouts, students can contact you. You can have office hours when it's convenient. Get that out of the way, and then you have your class time.
Joan, I'm pretty sure I've seen that you use Vimeo. Is there anything else that you use to flip your classroom? Do you have, like what do you utilize to flip your classroom, just out of curiosity? A little off topic.
Sorry, was that question for me?
Yes, it was.
Okay. I use, so I host everything on WordPress, and I use a script, a plugin called Watu Pro that you can really customize. It's almost like, depending on how students do, they get pushed to different tests and different assessments and different assignments and different parts of the website. And so I really use WordPress to kind of create that place for the students to have that more individualized instruction after hours, and that really makes a difference.
Can you say the name of that again? Is it Watu Pro?
It's Watu Pro, W-A-T-U. Pro is the paid version, although there is a free version. And that is a plugin. It's a WordPress plugin. You have to have a self-hosted WordPress site. And the customer service is amazing. I don't know when the author sleeps because he responds to my emails immediately. And it's a little tricky. I mean, it is user friendly, but it has so many options that there's a little bit of a steep learning curve, but you can just do anything you can think of. I mean, it starts to give you ideas because the possibilities are endless. And then Vimeo is great too. Just a warning, we need to close up in about 2 minutes, so if anyone has any more questions or things to share, I don't want to cut it off just yet, but just giving you that 1 minute warning at this point.
I just want to say thank you. I have like a whole list here of ideas, so I appreciate it. This was really helpful.
Excellent.
Yeah, same here. I'm excited to kind of give this a try, actually. I think the students will respond to it, but I do think it'll take a couple tries.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you so much.
interested in trying this in my own class first and then getting other colleagues to do what Scott was saying of have several classrooms involved. I think that would be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the more they're exposed to it in other classes, the easier it'll be for teachers next year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions or comments, I'll end this, and maybe I'll see you all in the next session. But thank you so much for joining. And to those of you who this is your first EdCamp Home, congratulations.
Thank you for hosting.
Thank you.